Hello everyone, I invite you to enjoy the improvisation that I did with the backing track. This lesson is on the fundamentals that it takes to improvise over this thing. And it's a long lesson. There's backing tracks and drum tracks included in the description below. There's also a PDF in the description below that you can purchase for a small amount of money to support what I'm doing as a teacher. And please give me feedback. Let me know what you think and how it might help you or what I can do to help you better. Thank you. All right, so from here on out, everything that I teach is going to be in a PDF below. You can get that PDF for $5. It supports what I'm doing as a music teacher here on YouTube, as well as the music programs that I'm doing live and in person. Let's get into the first thing that we're going to do with this piece of music, or learning this, and as it applies to Hey Joe 2 by Jimi Hendrix. But this specific track, we've got swinging 16th notes. So swinging 16th notes sound like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. They feel kind of fluid. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Versus straight eighth notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Feels a little more rigid. So swinging 16th notes are the foundation of all the musical thought that's happening here. So let's get into exercise 1, swinging 16th notes on the 6th string open. And we're going to be doing down-up strokes. And I'm trying to accent every downbeat. So I'm going to accent 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So I'm actually keeping track of the beats and not just playing straight through, kind of not being aware of what's going on. All right, so here we go. We're going to do 16th notes on the 6th string open. Here we go. 1, 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. 2 measures. 3 E and a 4. 3 measures. And a 3 E. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to swing 16th notes on fret 7 on the 5th string. It's also an E. So this is an E, good resolving harmony. Here we go. Let's swing some 16th notes right here. Accenting beats 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ready? And a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. You can really hear the accents with these closed position notes. Cool. Now let's do 16th notes on the 9th fret, the 3rd string. That's also an E. Here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Accents. All right, now let's do the accents and the 16th notes and accents on the E on the 1st string, 12th fret. Here we go. E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. All right, so the next thing we're going to explore is rhythms. They're fairly complicated with an E dominant 7 sharp 9 chord right here at the 7th fret on the 5th string. So we're playing our second finger on 7, or that E, on the 5th string with our second finger, and then the G sharp with our first finger on the 6th fret of the 4th string for that G sharp, third finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string for that D natural, and then the pinkies playing the G, a G natural right here on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and that creates the sharp 9. Between the flat 7 and the sharp 9, we have a very bluesy, edgy sound. And it makes it actually really accessible. There's a lot of fun things that can be played over this harmonization that leave a lot of room for stuff, but simply because it's a dissonant harmony. So that's our E7, E dominant 7 sharp 9 chord right there. Okay? All right, so our first rhythm that we're going to be doing with the drums with the E7 sharp 9 is going to be a simple 8th notes, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And it's all downstrokes. So example 1, E7 sharp 9 funky rhythm. Down, down, down. All right, let's do that with the drums. Here we go. E and a 2, E and a 3, E and a 4, E and a. I rushed a little. Gotta lock in. All right, very cool. Now the next thing we're gonna do is that same rhythm, but we're gonna now leave some space where the melody is gonna go later when we start adding melody back into these little exercises. But for now, let's just leave the space so that we can begin to identify the time. I don't know if you guys have ever heard Victor Wooten's album, A Show of Hands, but there's a first song on it is you can't hold no groove if you ain't got no pocket. That's one of the things that's being said in the first tune on the album. And this is about 3 and 4 and being able to hold that space for the melody that we're going to add later. So every single exercise that we do is going to utilize this concept of space. So now let's do the same thing, like I said, leaving a rest on beat rest on beat 3 and 4 to allow for the space. Exercise 1 with space. 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 2 more times. A couple more times. Holding it down. All right, let's take a look at the second funky rhythm with E7 sharp 9. We got some 16th notes in there. It's down, 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 up. It's gonna. That up is on the last 16th note of beat 2, so it's down, 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 up, down. It sounds very much like Foxy Lady, so let's do that with the drums. E and a 2, E and a 3, E and a 4, E and a down, 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 down. Cool, yeah, and I'm using a combination of pumping with the left hand and muting with the palm of my right hand. Right? Can catch. And lifting up creates that staccato feel there. All right, so let's do the same rhythm but adding space. So we're going to be resting on beats 3 and 4. Here we go. And a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 3 and 4 and that's where the melody will go eventually. All right, so example 3, funky E sharp 9, E7 sharp 9. I'm catching a up and a down on that last one. Any way you can get it works, just as long as it sounds da 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 da. As long as you got that feel, you're doing all right. Now let's get it with the drums. And a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Again, muting when needed. pumping with the left hand. Let's do example 3, funky rhythm, with adding a little bit of space for the melody. Here we go. 2 and a 3 and a 4. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and this is where the melody will go later. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 4 and. All right, cool. All right, so the next funky rhythm is example 4. It sounds like this. This rhythm I actually used in the solo. So let's get that with the drums. Fill in the whole measure with the rhythm. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and. All right, so now let's do it with resting on beats 3 and 4 for the space for when we add the melody later. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 4 and. This is where the melody will go. All right, cool. Very, very cool. So now let's move on. Let's go on to example 1, E minor blues scale in the open position, from the open position to the 12th on the guitar. So here we're going to be using mostly fingers 1 and 3. Sometimes 2 will step in. Very rarely, if never, use 4 when beginning teaching like this. Example 1, 0, 3, 5, 6, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 8, 9, 7, 9, 8, 10, 6, 7, 10, 12. And then the same thing back down. And I'm just going to go, if you watch the fingering here, sliding the 3, sliding the 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, sliding down through those notes. Always 3 sliding through the blue note. As well as going up, 3 is going to slide through the blue note when it can. And this one we have a blue note up here on the first string where we're sliding our first finger. All right, let's do this in time with the metronome. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and. Now, the second one is very similar to the first. The only difference is when we get to here, we're going to go through, sliding through the blue note on the second string instead of the first up to the 6 and 7. We're going to go 10, 11, 12, 10, 12. So here, let me walk you through it. 0, 3, 5, sliding the third finger to 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, sliding the third finger to from 7, 8, 9, 7, 9, 8, 10, 11, 12, that's where we're different, 10, 12. Then back down, sliding the third finger through that blue note to the to 8 there, 9, 7, sliding the third finger through the blue note again, down to 7 and 5, 7, 5, 7, slide the third finger. And we slide that third finger every single time to make sure that we can use it with blues licks. Here in a minute, I'll show you some blues licks with it. Okay, let's just get the fundamentals down though. Let's go ahead and do it with the metronome and get it down with the metronome. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. 3 and 4 and. 3 and 4 and. Get that down as good as you can, working it through as much as you can. Okay, so now I'm going to take those two examples, scale examples that I showed you, and I'm just going to play around with them first with no time. So I'm going to do right. Can I just work that one area? Now this area, pattern 1, set the bit of a run-on sentence there, but just working with that scale up and down, being creative. I'm not in time, so if I need to stop and think, I can. Okay, but mostly I'm trying to just get fluid like that. Let's do the fluid exercise of those two scales, and with the let's do the fluid nature of that, sort of like knowing of that scale, just up and down. Improvising with the scale with the drums. This can be very fun. This is an exercise you should do over and over, different every single time. That's what's fun about it. Here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. To a different spot of the scale. Now a different spot. Now the whole thing. Okay, just smoothly working through the scale. You can do that, once you get it to know it well enough, you can have fun with it just like that. All right, so now let's take a look at the next scale sets that we're working with. We're going to be working in and around the 12th fret here. So I am going to be going, I instead of playing 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 13, 14 like that, I'm going to use my third finger and go 12, 10, using my third finger to slide through the blue note again. Yeah, and creates nice physical relationship with the instrument to play cool licks. So we got 3 on 12, 1 on 10, 3 on 12, sliding through 13, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 11, sliding up 1 to 12, 15 on 3. And then we're going to go up from that 15 to 17, 18, 19. Now, when I'm coming back down, I often want to come down with the sliding with my first finger. So I come back down 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. Feels better to me. But if you can get the third finger to slide right there, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, or 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, that's fine. Whatever works best for you. Remember, this is about making melodies, so we're going to try to approach it where we can do all of the things so that in the heat of the moment of making a melody, we can do it all. So coming back down, I'm probably going to go 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3 on 15, 1, sliding down to 11, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 13, sliding with the third finger to 12, 10, 12. So here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to do this with the drums. Now that I can play it fluidly, let's do it with the drums. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Missed a little bit, but hey, maybe I could practice it a little bit more. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to move on, okay? Let's go to the next scale set. In the 12th position, we're now simply moving the blue note. That's it. So everything is the same, except the blue note here at 11 and 12, we're going to get at 14 and 15 on the third string. So instead of 11 here, we're going to 15 here. So everything's the same, except here, there's the blue note. Catching the blue note on the third string back down and sliding the third finger when possible because it creates great physical relationship for cool melodies. Here we go with the metronome. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Again. All right, yeah, so when you can play those scales up and down like that, the phrasing gets a little awkward, but that's all right, okay? We're just trying to get the scales where we can actually use them. All right, so here's one more version of the blues scale at the 12th fret. Everything else is the same. We got the 3, 1 there like we've been doing. Sliding up just like we did before. 12, 14, 12, 14. Then we're going to slide up to 15, 16 on the third string. That's what's new. Then we're going to play 15, 17 on the second. 15, 17, 18, 19 on the first. Coming back down this time, I am going to slide my third finger through that. Sliding my third finger through here. Though when you're in this position, a lot of times you got to be good at getting that slide through that position with other fingers, not just the third finger, because of the way it works organically on the neck. But today, for the sake of this exercise, we're just going to slide 3 on through it, right back down to the base of the scale. So here I am, I'm going to run it without the metronome. Okay, now let's do it with the drums, even though the phrasing is a little awkward. Here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Again, here we go. So now the next fundamentals that we're going to be working on is bending strings. We're bending strings first. We're going to be here in the 7th position. We're playing out of this A minor shape of E minor in the 7th position. We're kind of combining some scales, but mostly around that 7th position. That's where these bends are happening. So the first bend that we have is 7th position from A, 3rd finger on the A, and then I place my 2nd finger behind it like that for extra strength for the bend. And then we're bending from A up to B, that whole step. And that's a great way to tune it. You can hear it, right? I can tune up my bend and get it absolutely perfect by playing this note first and then bending up to it. Now the real trick is, can we do this in time? So we're going to do quarter notes. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to do that as an exercise for at least 4 measures. All right, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Let's do 4 more measures without me counting. All right, so the next bend we're going to do is going to be a 3/4 tone bend. So not quite a whole step and not a half step. So we play the whole step, but we're trying to land right below it, make it sound a little out of tune on purpose. But it's not a half step, it's a little higher than a half step. A little higher than that, a little below that. Here we go, playing this. It's just a little out of tune. It's kind of funny. Playing purposely out of tune. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a. 2 more. Yeah, so those quarter tone bends kind of make it yearn for something, you know. It gives an emotive quality, something emotional. Now we're going to go for even bluesier sounds because we're playing the actual blue note, A to B flat. This one we can tune to directly because it is an actual note on the guitar. So it's going to go like this. All right, here we go. Yeah, and sometimes you can let the bend fall away. It sounds good. It's fun to vary it up. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. That was 4 measures, 4 more. Let it. Let it fade out, kind of bend off. That little bend off is fun to mess around with. It sounds pretty cool. All right, so now we're gonna do a quarter tone bend. So not quite a half. Right there. Not a half, a quarter. Yeah, that's why bending right here is so great, because there's so many notes that sound awesome when you're in the heat of the moment and you're playing something bluesy and it has got a spicy sound, you know, it's kind of dirty or got some angst to it. Any of those quarter tone, half step bend to blue note, or 3/4 tone bend, or a whole step bend will all sound awesome. All right, but here's this quarter tone. Purposely out of tune. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It sounds so weird. But I promise you, in the heat of the moment, this bend works. It's nice to have the control and know what bend I'm going for. Okay, so the next bend we're going to do at the 7th position out of this A minor shape of E minor right there. We've got our shape, right? And so this 10th fret is going to bend up to an E. That's going to be trying to get it exactly in tune. I find this bend to be pretty difficult. Be sure to use both your second and third finger to get it done. Here we go with the metronome. 3 and 4 and. Kind of let it come off there at the end with a little bend off. All right, so our next tuning bends thing is going to be at the 12th position, all of the same notes, except this time we're going to get to bend the G up to A on the first string. But everything else is exactly the same, but we have to do it on these strings because the tension that is here and here with these strings is different than the tension that's on the third and second string for the same notes and the same bends. So here we are at the 14th fret on the third string, and we're going to bend from A up to B. It also sounds different. It's more mellow here. More rounded, mellow sound. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And I like the sound of the bend off. That was 4 measures. Let's do 4 more. Without a bend off. With a bend off. With a bend off, this last one. Sort of bends off actually to that quarter tone is what that's what we're hearing there. And I love it. I love the way it sounds. Soul singers, blues singers, soul music has quarter tones in it, guys, just like Middle Eastern music does. Go look up Derek Trucks and see what he has to say about it. Because he does a great job of articulating what's going on. And we'll talk about maybe that in depth later. Right now, we're just getting the fundamentals. So let's go on to the next bend, which is our 3/4 tone bend from 14 on the 3rd string. And we're going to bend up to a 1/4 tone of that. So not quite there. There it is. That's it. Right? And it's got that falling off the bend on this one. It has an emotional quality to it. And it's great to have this control. So here we go. We're going to do 3/4 tone bends from 14 almost to B, using B as a reference point for that slightly lower tone. Here we go. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. So our next bend right here on the 3rd string is more straightforward. We go from 14 to 15 to the blue note. So we can actually hear it because it's an actual note on the guitar. It's not an in between the fret note. So here we go from A to B flat with the metronome. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good to have the control. Again, 4 more measures. Ooh, that was a little off. Cool. All right. Now we got the last bend right here on this A is our 1/4 tone bend. Using the B flat. Not quite to the B flat. That 1/4 tone right there. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It sounds so strange. I love it. Think about whales communicating. All right, very, very cool. Now we're going to go to the next bend. Let me look at my sheet, make sure I'm not skipping anything. We did our 1/4 tone bends. We're good to go. We're on to the next string. Go to the 2nd string. We're going to bend up from 15 to 17, which is a D to an E. Okay? So it's going to be... It's a little easier than the 1st string. There's a lot of tension on this 1st string right here for that same notes. Here, I'm still going to use my 2nd every single time I bend. I'm using my 2nd and my 3rd finger at the same time. Okay, so we're going... Trying to be perfectly in tune. Get used to what it feels like to bend and be in tune. Here we go with the metronome. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. Little bend off sounds good to that 1/4 tone. I love the way that sounds, especially with a little delay. nice and in tune. Very cool. So the next bend that we're going to do is from 15 up to 17 on the first string. Jimi Hendrix actually loves this bend during Hey Joe. He uses it, but it doesn't mean he owns it. So we're just going to practice 15, 17, and keeping it in tune. Here we go. With the metronome, this is what it should sound like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's without the pull off, I mean bend off. With bend off. Without, this is with. Almost done. Last one with a bend off. Little tiny bend off at the end. It's very graceful. It's a skill, man, and it sounds great. All right, so we're going to keep with our bending exercises. It's our first one. Playing out of the A minor shape of E minor right here, bending up from A to B. Just getting used to that idea. It's going to be bending up from A to B, coming back down to A, to G, to E, to E, G, to E. It's in the tablature. It's in the PDF below. Be sure to get it. Here we go. And a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. All right, so the next one is using that quarter tone bend. You can hear the emotive quality of the quarter tone when we start adding it into an actual little melodic line. So here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. There's the actual note, right? So we can hear that bend and how it kind of yearns. Now let's do B flat. Same exercise, but with B flat. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. Right, and you can play the B flat every now and then. With this one, we're getting that quarter tone. So here we go. The and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Here's the half the step. Not quite there. Not quite. Right? Cool. Super, super easy. So our next bend is going to be from the 10th D up to E. And getting that bend and the resolution note. So here we go with the metronome. This is exercise 5 of the easy melodies. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I can actually play it. Actually, play 12 to tune. All right, that's it for that one. Pretty straightforward and simple. Now, when we go to the A to B, B flat B area with our quarter tones and 3/4 tone bends here at the third string, I'm just gonna sail right through them. This is easy melody bend 6. We're going from A to B, so a whole step. All right, here we go. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Every now and then, play it. Right, every now and then you can actually play that B to help tune. All right, here we go. Let's do the next one. This is going to be exercise 3/4 step bend, exercise example 7 in the tablature. Here we go. 3 and 4 and. Just slightly flat for that one. All right, now we're gonna do, we can actually use 15 on the third string to tune this next bend. This is example, bending example 8 on the PDF. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Got that one down. Now we're on to example 9. So the 3/2 bend, not quite to there. Just a little tiny bend. All right, here we go. We'll use 15 every now and then just to make sure we're staying good on the quarter tone. 2 and 3 and 4 and. There's that. Cool. So we're almost done with the fundamentals here. This, lesson on fundamentals can be a little boring, but it's good for us to learn how to do these things. So we're example 10 from 15 to 17 or from D to E. And I'm playing that A with my second finger there. So we're going. And we can, if we need to, every now and then we can play actually play the physical E on the guitar to help tune while we're doing the exercise. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Flat. All right, cool. So we got 15 to 17 on the first string. That's the lick. Excuse me. Super easy. This is the final one. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, finishing up with a little bit of messing around with the fundamentals in time, but you should also be able to do that without time. All right, so I left off some bends with these patterns that we need to include. So we're going to go on the first string up here from 17 to 19, which is A to B. So we have A to B that you can tune like the others. Use the same kind of exercise. That also includes quarter tone, 3/4 tone bend to right, almost to. It also includes a half step bend from A to B flat. And it includes a quarter tone bend between A and B flat. It sounds really hideous when we're just practicing it, but it's actually really useful when you're improvising, because in this spot, bends sound great no matter what, quarter tone, half step bend or whole step bend, whatever you use works really well. All right, so the last bend that I want to include is a minor third bend. My little kitten trying to get in the way here. We're going to go from E, and we're doing a minor third bend. This is the only place on the guitar that we do this, and it's a minor third bend is up three frets. So 1, 2, 3 to the G. And it's the only place we're going to try to do this. It's a very big bend. So it's sort of like, when you're doing some like Albert King type things or Stevie Ray Vaughan. Right? That's a really useful and fun. Useful little bend, really powerful sounding melodic content. Okay, so now that I've done all of the fundamentals, I'm going to go through and just do a simple track of me playing again. This time I'm going to be more strategic about where I play on the guitar. I'm going to start here and improvise, then I'm going to move through this lower section to the middle section that we covered to the higher section that we covered. I'm going to start out with with some chord work just to set the vibe. And then I'm going to simply use the melodic content. I'm not going to do any chords and melodic content yet. I'll save that for the next video. All right, just a little ways of just getting through each section, working on each little section as I go. I could spend, a whole day practice just in one area of the guitar and mastering that one area before I start trying to combine them. It's really up to you and how you want to flow with your practice routine. All right, enjoy the backing tracks. They're all here, the drum track with the bass. Enjoy it, have fun. See ya.